Welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and we've got a loaded show on tap for you today. Bobby Slowik, could he be becoming a head coach this offseason? He got a lot of interviews last year. Could he be becoming a head coach this year? Also, the Texans, they made a signing to the practice squad. Could that be a big difference maker this Saturday up against the Chargers? Could that new signing be playing this Saturday? We'll break that down. And the Texans, do they just keep on getting disrespected, or maybe do I have my Texans blinders on? I'll break all these down later on in today's show. But before we get going, our first topic is around Bobby Slowik. He actually got an interview for the Jets head coaching job, and I just want to send him out with some good luck, So if you can help me out, actually don't help me out, help Bobby out. Go write a letter of recommendation for the New York Jets down in the comment section if you could, because if any Jets player, personnel, somebody from the front office watches today's video, I just want to let them know that Bobby's the right guy for the job. Go hire him right now. And if you don't believe me, look at the comment section at all these loyal Texans fans that are writing letters of recommendation for Bobby Slowik to be the head coach. Hey, if that doesn't tell you that he's the guy for the job, I don't know what will. So if you could do me a favor, Texans fans, go down there and let the Jets know they should hire Bobby Slowik to be their next head coach. So Bobby Slowik, will he become a head coach for the New York Jets? All right, I'll be serious for a second. One Toro head. I'm going to give it one Toro head. He got an interview with New York, but do I think he's actually going to get the job as the New York Jets' next head coach? No, not really. I don't think he has a good shot at all. And Diana Rossini came in with the news yesterday that the Jets already put in a request for Texans offensive coordinator Bobby Slowik for an interview, but this interview process for the Jets has been actually pretty wild. The names that they've thrown out there, I mean, that clown that I talked about 2 days ago, Rex Ryan, he has an interview with the New York Jets as well. His former employer that he got the boot from, could he be going back to the Jets? I mean, I think it's a total shit show in New York right now with this Jets head coaching vacancy. Maybe Bobby Slowik does it. I don't think he does. At the end of the day, though, if I'm being serious around Bobby Slowik, I still think he can be a good OC in this league. Does he need to come back with the Texans next season? That's yet to be seen. I don't really think he's proven enough this year to give me confidence going into next season. But I can't see a team legitimately wanting him to be the head coach after the season that this Texans offense had in 2024-2025. I mean, you look at the offensive ranks for the season for the Texans. Yards per game, 22nd. Passing yards per game, 21st. Rushing yards per game, 15th. Points per game, 19th. All these statistics, not top 15, not top half of the league. And if Bobby Slowik's the guy in charge of this unit, in charge of the offense, and you're a bottom half of the league offense, I mean, you want to promote that guy? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, hey, Texans fans, we've been actually clamoring all season for the Texans to actually maybe even get rid of Bobby Slowik at some point and make this guy right here, Gerard Johnson, the next offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. So do I think he's going to get a head coaching job? No. I think he'll land back on his feet if he does not return with the Texans next season. I think he'll still get an OC job somewhere, at least a quarterback's coach somewhere in the league. But do I think Bobby Slowik's actually going to be a head coach in the NFL? No, but if he could, hey, maybe the recommendations help. Maybe the Jets see that and Bobby becomes the next head coach of the New York Jets. So if you could, give him some kind words down in the comment section for me. Next up, the Texans, they made a signing late yesterday to the practice squad. Could that be a difference maker for this Texans team, this Texans defense going into this matchup, Wildcard Weekend up against the Chargers? Well, I'll break that down in just a moment. But got to show some love to the sponsor of today's program in Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends. Become part of the Prize Picks community today. And it's not just football. They have basketball. Baseball season's right around the corner. Hockey's in full swing. I personally love MMA, combat sports on here. I know we've got some NASCAR people in the office as well. You can look at that, some driving, some racing, All of that available over on Prize Picks. And for football, it's playoff time. And it's now or never, not just for the Houston Texans, but also in college, it's playoff time. So don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with our friends over at Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. And if you don't have a lineup already, if you're like, hey, Jeremy, I don't even know where to start, this is the lineup that I put forward for Wildcard Weekend. Give me the more on C.J. Stroud passing yards, less on Ladd McConkey receiving yards. Give me the more on Lamar Jackson rush yards and Bo Nix rush yards. I think both those quarterbacks are going to be running quite a ton. And this one might be the best value of the weekend. James Cook, the running back for the Bills, 11.5 receiving yards. He's utilized a ton out of the backfield. They love the running back screen there in Buffalo. I think that James Cook could easily garner more than an 11.5 receiving yards. So you can use my picks or go against them. Just do it over at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So get started today with our friends over at Prize Picks. Run your game. Now, this new Texans signing, could he make a difference? I'm going to give that 2 Toro heads, a small shred of truth, 50-50 chance. And it's not because the Texans signed one of the best corners out there. I mean, Anthony Averrett is a decent name. He's been in the NFL since 2018. I mean, mostly in the AFC North. He's played, with the Steelers. He's played with the Ravens. He's had some good seasons. His last season where he actually had significant playing time was in 2022. Besides that, he's been bouncing around from team to team. But I think he could possibly make a difference only because he has experience playing on the inside and the outside. I talked to our Steelers host, said he might be a little bit better of a nickel option than an outside corner, which that's exactly what the Texans need right now. They already have 2 outside guys in Stingley and Lassiter. They might need somebody on the inside playing that nickel. And the Texans depth chart is not pretty when you look past the starters for the cornerback room. I mean, you have those 2 awesome guys in Lassiter and Stingley, but behind them, Jeff Okudah doesn't give me a lot of confidence. Myles Bryant is your starter in the slot for right now. D'Angelo Ross has been mostly a special teamer, and Chris Boyd he's been Chris Boyd. He's been okay. Like, nothing to write home to mama about, right? But this did have me thinking if the Texans could possibly add somebody else before this weekend. I know it's a little bit late. It's already Tuesday, so adding another person, you'd have to get them up to speed. But what if you added somebody that already knew the system, already knew this defense and this coaching staff, like Desmond King? That's who the Texans added last year right before the playoffs, and that worked well. He's currently on the Ravens practice squad, and I double-checked. I looked online, and I might be wrong. If you're an NFL rules expert, maybe correct me in the comments if I am wrong. But since he is on the Ravens practice squad, the Texans can still sign him before the start of the playoffs, before the first game of Wildcard Weekend. So maybe they look to go for Desmond King, somebody who has a lot of experience playing in the nickel, that slot role, currently on the Ravens practice squad, and that could maybe hurt the Ravens a little bit as they get ready for the playoffs, take somebody off their practice squad. Another practice squad player who is familiar with the Texans was on the team last year, Steven Nelson. He's currently on the Chiefs practice squad right now. So maybe you could poach one of those guys. I don't know if it's too late. I don't even know if they're on the Texans' radar. But both guys, and I also know Steven Nelson, quite the history with the Texans this past offseason. He's said a lot of things. There's been a lot of, stuff going on with his podcast, this, that, and the other. But both these guys, bottom line, know this Texans defense. They know what they're getting into with this Texans team. So Nick Caserio, I honestly think both those options could be better than Anthony Averrett. The only kicker is if you do sign Desmond King or Steven Nelson off of the Ravens or Chiefs practice squads, they have to be on the 53-man roster. They have to immediately be on the 53-man and be on the active roster for this weekend, which I don't think is a huge problem if you're absolutely desperate for a nickel corner, slot corner that could help you in these next couple games. I think Desmond King would be a really good option if they did it like today. Last storyline for the Texans. Do we keep on getting disrespected? Are the Texans getting disrespected once again? That's 4 Toro heads. That is 100% true, and it continues to go on year after year. I mean, it's not enough that the Texans, are already getting laughed at by pundits on ESPN, like the big mouth Rex Ryan, who thinks that he knows all because he coached for a little bit and now can't get a coaching job. I mean, this team, they're the 4 seed. The Chargers are coming in as the 5 seed. And when you look at their records, I mean, the Texans, they only lost 1 more game than the Chargers did this season. The Texans also have beat the Buffalo Bills, the number 2 seed in the AFC. Yet everybody seems to be glazing the Chargers like they're these world beaters, like they're this amazing team that's going to make it out of the AFC. And I don't think that's the case. The Chargers are very good, don't get me wrong. But are they significantly better than the Houston Texans? I don't think so. And the Texans, not only that, they consistently on Wildcard Weekend get the first game. They always get the Saturday eve or morning game, that first game of the AFC Wildcard or the NFL Wildcard Weekend. And it just seems like a joke at this point. I mean, Ian Rappaport even joked about it on NFL Network that, yeah, the Texans are the team that always gets that first wildcard game. I mean, people don't respect the Texans. People think they're going to be one and done. People think that the season's already over, that they're already counting out the Texans during this playoffs for the 2024-2025 season. So I'm going to say this. If you're going to the game, if you're a Texans fan going to this game, it is a home game. It is NRG. It is playoffs. It is win or go home. Get to the game. Get to the game early. Get loud. Get rowdy. We've already seen the clips of Justin Herbert getting upset with his offensive line, getting upset with his offense for delay of games, for not getting the play ready and having the clock run out. Make it hard on this Chargers offense. Get there, get loud, get proud. Because it's not enough that they're disrespecting the team. They're also disrespecting the city of Houston, saying that this fan base, that this culture, that this city of Houston, this sports mecca of Houston is really not that it's really a second-tier city, that it is a second-tier sports town. And I don't believe that one lick. When Houston comes out, they represent and they go hard for their teams. So if you are going to the game, if you know somebody who's going to the game, I implore you, get there. Get loud and get rowdy and make life a living hell for the Chargers this Saturday. Now, if you are a real one, if you made it to the end of the video, I want you to do one thing and one thing only. Go down, spam those H's in the comments section because I want to hear you down there. I want to see who's repping with me all the way to the end of the video because I know the diehards, the real ones, the H-Town hold it down homies, they show up all the way to the end of the video. And I know if you're going to the game, and you came all the way to the end of this video, I know you're going to be the loudest one at NRG.